the greatest G-Shock of all time. Let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. Over the last, I'd say, 6 years, I have been searching for the best of the best when it comes to G-Shocks. I've delved heavily back into their history, but also I have been diving straight in to modern day G-Shocks, and I've got to be honest, I've been enjoying doing it. But recently, I have come to the conclusion, in my opinion, I know what the greatest G-Shock of all time is. Now, 2026 will mean that G-Shock are celebrating their 43rd birthday, and over those 4 decades, the company has evolved, innovated, and pushed the very limits to what we would be quite comfortable wearing on our wrist, while still maintaining those core G-Shock values, basically making the toughest watch on the planet. So, what do I think is the greatest G-Shock of all time, and why do I think it's the greatest G-Shock of all time? Are you G-Shock GOAT ready? Let's go! Right, so as I said, 43 years since the very first release, and this production model came after at least 100 prototypes, where they eventually were inspired by a rubber ball. Housing a module inside a rubber ball gave them the inspiration to the patented hollow case guard structure. And that initial square design didn't just happen overnight, it's rounded and squared off in that way to distribute impacts on the watch if it was to fall off your wrist. Which, by the way, I'd never had a G-Shock fall off the wrist, I don't know about you. And for me that loves a bit of history, I don't think the square-shaped G-Shock has ever been beaten. Yes, I'm a big lover of the Rangeman, the Mudman, the Mudmaster, the DWD 5500, the DW 9052. There have been many G-Shock designs after the initial one that have done a great job, some would say if not better, at representing the G-Shock name. But the question is, let's talk about sneakers or trainers.
Or kicks if you're the cool kids.
What are the Nike Air Jordans that are the most popular? Well, they're the first ones, aren't they? The Mac Daddies. There's always going to be a special place in our hearts for the first of something. And if you can improve on that initial design without changing it too much, you're on to a winner. Back in those days, the original releases had a stainless steel case that was covered with a rubber resin shell, which obviously made them a little bit heavy. As the years went on, the company were able to make these watches in rubber resin, and the only thing stainless steel were the pushers and the case backs, making the G-Shock Square lighter, more of a sports watch. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge lover of the 5000U and my DW5040. There's a weighty premium to those watches, but I have to be honest, making a G-Shock out of less stainless steel will obviously have less impact if it does bash against a wall or does fall on the floor. Let's move to battery life. It was inevitable that sooner or later the G-Shock Square would be solar powered, which is a phenomenal thing for many because it means for as long as we own the watch, pretty much, we don't have to change the battery. Another huge upgrade was atomic timing. Your G-Shock could pick up a signal, providing there's a signal strong enough out there that can correct the time on your watch just in case it wasn't accurate enough. And that is why for many years, one of the most popular G-Shocks ever is the GWM 5610U, a watch that arguably hasn't got much wrong about it at all. And for £100, you can get a great sophisticated bit of kit that has that ancestry of over 4 decades, but with all the mod cons we've just talked about. Also, we can't forget about the actual module upgrades that had countdown timers, dual times, world times, alarms, having tide graphs and moon phases. Modules have come a long way since that 5000 back in 1983. In November of last year, the company came out with a watch that was probably the most anticipated release of the last 10 years. And I am talking about this bad boy, the BX 5600. I believe this watch here is the greatest G-Shock of all time. In my opinion, remember? Like I said at the start, I love history. I love going back in time and seeing the lineage, you know, the evolution of a brand. I want to see a modern watch that has all those great inspirations from those years past to make something better. And it's all good having watches with triple sensors, you know, digital compasses, barometers, altimeters. All that is great if you are in the wilderness and you're properly outdoorsy. But GShock was never made for this at the start. The aim was to make the toughest watch in the world. Now, several years ago, GShock introduced memory in pixel displays. And it's almost looking at your old Nokia mobile phones, that crisp displays that just weren't raised above certain filters or layers. Any angle you put these watches in, the legibility is 100%. And it outshines any GShock you put it up against.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Now, since buying this watch, I have been struggling to wear any other GShock, I've got to be honest. And I have felt bad because I'm a history guy. I love wearing old things because, well, nowadays I'm old. But I get absolutely everything I want with not only the watch, but the whole brand in this one. The resin may not be as good and as premium as the 5000U. It's lightweight. The functionality is all I want in a GShock. I mean, there's a world time option, which I don't really use. There's 4 alarms and a snooze alarm, a stopwatch, a countdown timer, and that's it. And that's all I want. Now, because of the refresh rate of memory in pixel, you don't get a running 100th of a second, you know, flirting about. But when you do stop the stopwatch, you do have 100th of a second reading. Now, I know that this watch is capable of much more. You can connect this to your phone. I don't use any of those Bluetooth features. But I guess like the 200 meters of water resistance, it's nice that it's there, just in case I do use it. But to me, this GShock signifies the whole brand. The evolution of that square design, evolving through the decades into some quite weird and wacky designs, you know, from this to this. But like the original Nike Air Jordans, you can't beat the first one. And the fact they've given it all the features we want, those that aren't outdoorsy, and put it in this design, I mean, it's awesome. It's another £59 on top of a 5610U, and over the years I can imagine this watch being more around the £100 mark. But in terms of wearability, legibility, features, it's the GOAT. Well, certainly in my collection. Now, the one thing, remember, no watch is perfect. I've said that in a couple of shows before. This watch gets let down by the backlight. Why it's so dim, I do not know, because my GBD 200s, the backlight on there is rather bright. However, their modules aren't solar powered. So maybe GShock haven't made a module to give us a backlight strong enough that can also keep the watch ticking over. You get it? But apart from that, controversial, but I think this is the GOAT. But I'd love to know down there in the comments, what is your ultimate GOAT? Yes, Casio Corner is back, and we've got to say a big thanks to JC Marshall, because I had to smile when I saw this photo. Here we have 3 beautiful GShock ring watches. The resin, the steel, and the gold steel. Anyone with OCD will take a look at all 3 of those times and might start twitching a bit. Whatever we say about these ring watches, you can't say they're not fun. And I applaud you, my friend, for not only having 1, not 2, but 3 of the beauties. Thanks for tagging me in. If you'd like to be on the next Casio Corner, all you gotta do, find me on Instagram here and tag me in on one of your Casio posts, because who knows, next time the star of the show could be you. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I will continue my search on finding banging GShocks, but when one watch in a massive collection starts being worn a hell of a lot, I've got to talk about it. Anyway, if you want to show a bit more support to the Mad Watch Collector channel, we've got a Patreon now. See the shows early, blooper reels, behind the scene footage, private group chat, and get your name credited at the end of every show like this wonderful lot. But if I've got you here for a few more minutes, and I hope I have, you GShock Casio freaks, yeah, come on. Click this one, you will love it. Oh, I bet you can see the time from there, can't you? Oh, mip it. Go on, click it. Click this, you'll love it. Click it. Go on, click it.